All right. So, Jasmine, tell us your name. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Jasmine Adams. I am a nurse here at Presbyterian Medical Center. I work in the ICU. It's a medical surgical ICU, so we see a lot of different patients. And then, of course, this year we've seen a ton of COVID patients.
So, when you talk about medical ICU, who's walking in there or who's getting rolled in there? Who are the patients that you're encountering? What are the types of situations?
Well, our patients are generally the sickest of the sickest in the hospital. We see a lot of surgical cases. So if you've had like a complex surgery or surgery that just didn't go well, we would see you on this floor. We also have just a variety of different diagnoses, a lot of sepsis patients, a lot of patients with pneumonia, just anything like that. If you need a ventilator, then you're here on our floor in ICU.
When we're talking about saving a life, it sounds like this is the area where a lot of that life saving is taking place. Different areas of the hospital, I'm sure, do different things. The stuff you're talking about sounds like you're often seeing the most critical patients.
Yes, definitely. And unfortunately, with that comes a lot of death. So we do see that a lot up here too.
You said it's a lot of death.
Yes.
So how is that for you personally, dealing with the fact that you know that the person who you're caring for at that moment may not be here?
It's definitely hard. I've been a nurse for a little over 5 years, and it doesn't get easier. You don't really get used to it. We have patients that are here for long periods of times, and we get attached to patients. You know, they almost become like family. So it's difficult to deal with. You just kind of try to take your mind off of it when you leave here. Try to just leave it at work. But I mean, it's almost impossible to sometimes. Sometimes we carry things home with us, faces, memories, family members.
When this pandemic hit, I'm sure nobody expected what it would be or what it could be. Walk me back to the beginning of this all, where you were mentally, what you thought it would be, and how it's turned out.
I think like a lot of people, we thought it would be, something that we dealt with for a couple months, expected to maybe lose, older people or people who are, had been very sick and ended up unfortunate enough to have COVID. And we've of course seen that, but we've seen, it's lasting so long. It doesn't seem like there's an end in the near future. In fact, it's, kind of getting worse again. And we've seen, young people die. We've seen a lot. And we just didn't expect that at first at all. I think probably around April, May, we realized, kind of the severity of the situation and how it was going to be something that's not just going to go away quickly, that we're going to have to, learn to adapt to.
So when you train for a 5K and then all of a sudden it turns out to be a marathon, how do you find your strength? What do you do to keep showing up every day?
A lot of things at home, just making sure that we're taking that time to relax, to decompress. Outlets that you may have, like I'm from someone who does like yoga, that kind of thing a lot. You kind of just show up. At the end of the day, it's our job. We're used to sick patients, and that's still the same case. They're still just sick patients who need a nurse. And then you kind of have the added part of our patients here not being able to be with their families. Like, their families are not here to hold their hand, to give them that support. And that's, kind of where we come in. And that is a big inspiration, just knowing that, we are who they have here, present with them. And that kind of gives us the strength to, keep doing it, keep showing up for these people, because their family and their loved ones can't be here with them.
Have you been there with patients in their final moments? Have you had to tell people you need to say goodbye?
Yeah. Yep. More times than I ever imagined, at the beginning of this. We've definitely had to be there. We've had to facilitate like Zoom or FaceTime calls so that, goodbyes could be said if they were not in person. held hands just of patients who, have even lost family members in the same way. And they, not even that they couldn't be there, they're just, not alive any longer as well. So it's been a lot.
It sounds like it's been a lot. So when you hear people saying it's not that serious, it's not that big of a deal, it's a hoax, I'll get a fever and get over it, what would you tell them?
It's just not the case for everybody. And, we don't really have a way to predict, we've had, couples who come in, like husband and wife, they both have COVID. One person was able to heal from it at home. The other, the same age, the same health status, are fighting for their lives on the ventilator right now. And, it's not a hoax. It's something that I hope that everyone takes seriously, because you just never know. We have no way of knowing.
As we move into Thanksgiving and the holiday season, and you're starting to see cases inch back up again, are you feeling defeated? Are you feeling frustrated? Are you concerned? Just tell me about how you feel knowing where we're moving into now.
It's frustrating. And then, of course, as you mentioned, it's frustrating when people don't take it seriously, or they think it's not a big deal. They think it's, similar to the flu or even a cold. But at least this time around, I do feel like we are more prepared. We kind of have a better idea of what to expect. So we're a little bit more confident with treating this, second wave that's coming. There's a lot of anxiety in the beginning, not just for our patients, but for ourselves and our families on if it's something that we're going to carry home. And I think that we have been able to kind of work through that. And we realize, our PPE that we wear here is protecting us. It's doing its job. So that's a sense of comfort, but definitely a lot more prepared this time around.
Has there ever been a moment or a time where you said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. This is too much?
Yes, definitely in the beginning. I was extremely just anxious, just nervous. I didn't want to be around any of my family. I didn't want to be around to see anybody. I was just afraid, and then afraid for myself as well. Because we've had, of course, there have been healthcare workers who have gotten sick with COVID as well. So it was so much uncertainty, so much that we just didn't know. And I was terrified, but at the end of the day, this is my job. I like my job, and I'm here to do it. And I kind of just had to put that fear aside. And every single day, it just got easier to come here and to deal with everything.
What would you tell people? People don't often get to meet the people who are there in the hospital doing this work every day. What would you want them to know about your job, what you're seeing, what you're doing?
I just would like people to know how real, this virus is, how unpredictable it is, how even after all these months, we're still surprised by things that the virus does to the body. So, just be careful, be safe, wear your mask, do everything you can to prevent it from spreading and getting worse.
Do you have family here in the area?
I have family in Raleigh and some in Wilmington.
So what do you tell them? What are the conversations like with your family members? The things that you're telling the public, are they the same things that you have to tell your family too?
Yeah, I have, my mom and my sister actually work in the health field too, so they're pretty aware of it. So we're kind of like the go-to people when people have questions. Like my family will always ask, is it really that serious? Is it that bad? Should we listen to what they're saying on the news? And I'm like, absolutely, it is as bad as they say it is, if not worse.
Is there any optimism that you have? Anything that you've learned or that you feel about yourself that you didn't know a few months ago? Is there anything positive that you can take from this experience right now?
Being a nurse and working with sick patients, I've always been like extra grateful and just more like, I guess, cognizant of all the good things around me. And definitely even more so now. Don't take anything for granted. I definitely don't take my health for granted, the health of my family, because it can be gone, just like that. So that's one thing. It's just made me more appreciative of every single thing.
How reliant are you on your teammates, your coworkers, the people around you in the trenches with you every day?
So I've worked here for about a year and a half, and it's always been a great team, a good management. My coworkers have always been helpful, but going through this together, we've definitely gotten closer. And just our teamwork is the best thing. Like, we couldn't ask for a better group of people to work with, support each other as much as we can in every area. You never come here and feel like you're alone. You always feel supported, and I definitely appreciate and I love that.
Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to say or that you think is important to mention?
Let's see. Oh, I just want to say how appreciative we are of the community and the support that we've been given. We got a lot of food, a lot of like free lunches and that kind of thing from, just businesses in the community and just individuals. Local churches and schools sent a bunch of letters and cards and just nice things. And we have kept all of those things up around the unit just as the extra like push of inspiration and motivation that people, do recognize what we're doing and are grateful for it.
As people are getting ready to gather or not gather, to be grateful and to give thanks, are you hoping that people just don't gather? I mean, what are you thinking when you're hearing about people who are making their Thanksgiving plans and you're watching people out shopping? Do you sit there and say, oh no? What are you thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, it makes me nervous because, we've seen cases of family members who have gone to like funerals or weddings and then have ended up with 3 or 4 family members in the hospital fighting it. So people probably think, it's just my family, it's just me and, these 2 other people, but you have a chance and there's a risk every single time that, a lot of people are together. You always have that chance. So, just be careful. It's better safe than sorry. I mean, you wouldn't want to turn a joyous holiday into something that you regret, for the rest of your life because, people got sick.